the international feed of Smackdown on Friday night during the match of Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. There was some kind of screw up, and they showed what the girls in the ring thought was the commercial break. They stopped wrestling, they goofed around a bit, then they were just standing around. And some people say, well, why should they have been actually doing something? Like, they're on commercial. Why should they have? Well, because something like this could happen, for one thing, but also I remember Terry Funk once telling me that he started going into character for his wrestling match the moment he stopped at the first gas station in the town that he was wrestling in that night, and he didn't get out of character till he left the town. So that just shows you how wrestling has changed today. Like, you know what? I might have not been the most famous wrestler in the world, but like, if I'm in a match and I'm in character, I won't just stop. Like, you get into that zone and you become your character if you take it seriously, in my opinion. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. It's out there if anyone wants to search it up. It actually shows them goofing around in the ring and stuff. Yes, it was in front of no crowd, but there was millions watching at home for SmackDown. So you have to take into consideration that possibility. The cameras are aimed at them. It is supposed to be live. That SmackDown, by the way, did a 0.7 rating. As I reported yesterday, some people were really excited about this because it was up a little bit. But just to remind everyone, WWE was hoping when they moved over to Fox to average a 1 rating. So even with everyone home with this coronavirus, less people going out, with John Cena returning on that show, Jeff Hardy having his first match back with WWE since forever, going through his rehab and criminal issues, they still only got a 0.7 rating. Raw is going to be at the Performance Center in front of no crowd, too, as well as NXT Wednesday and SmackDown this Friday. AEW Wednesday is also going to be recorded in front of no fans, apparently. UFC is looking for places to record. They want to continue to put on events, whether there's fans there or not, but it looks like, at least for now, it won't be in Nevada. So Steve Austin, Edge, and Undertaker are all supposed to be on Raw tomorrow in front of no fans, I guess, which kind of sucks for their returns. But as I said, I don't think Austin is doing anything but plugging his latest interview anyways. The UK UFC show that I think is supposed to be happening next weekend looks like that's going to be off, and it's likely going to be recorded somewhere in the US because there is a travel ban right now with Europe, and it's way too complicated to still do that show. There is some talk that WrestleMania could happen still in a smaller venue. Maybe not the stadium. Maybe WWE will somehow negotiate to have it in the hockey arena, but who knows? They might also be forced to cancel. Some people are like putting heat on WWE for not canceling. Honestly, lots of people from all over the world got plane tickets to go to that. And this whole thing is fucking retarded, in my opinion. Like, it's just the fucking flu. It's retarded, the big deal they're making about all this. So I don't blame WWE for not canceling, and probably if they're forced to cancel, it probably might help their insurance if they have to recover all that money, because that is a big hit. Huge hit. WWE, by the way, is not under, like, there's hardly any wrestling commissions still in existence, so it's easier for WWE and wrestling companies to still run shows than MMA and boxing, for instance, where they're sanctioned by commissions. I'll go through a few of your questions. Wicked Popcorn Popcast says, is Canada going to have a lockdown because of the virus? I really hope not. I'm supposed to go to Phoenix in a couple weeks, and I'm already really pissed off. I've already lost money because of this. And if my next interview trip is canceled over this stupidity, I'm going to be really pissed off. Colonel Quayle says, sad the XFL is finished for the year. As I said before, it might actually be to the XFL's benefit that they are finished for the year. By the way, MLW did a show in Mexico last night in front of about 5,000 fans. Way more. I don't even think the Impact tapings that I see from Mexico, I don't even know if they had 100 fans from what I saw. So MLW got about 5,000 fans last night in Mexico, but they're now saying they're putting a hold on future events too. Ralph Vaquero says he saw a titty pop out once on live TV wrestling. Didn't Sable do that? Walter Johnson said Paige wasn't there for SmackDown. According to Meltzer, that was because she didn't want to go. The story that it had to do with flights, according to what I understand from Wrestling Observer, isn't necessarily true. But I believe both WWE and AEW have said that talents have the right to not come to work if they don't want to. Dave McMichael says he saw the Hardy match because he was just curious to see what the empty arena looks like. He hadn't watched a second of wrestling in months. Walter Johnson, will WWE give refunds if they cancel WrestleMania? Yes. No doubt in my mind they will. Have you ever dealt with Arn Anderson or seen his podcast? When I was being used as an extra for WWE, I remember once he was showing Batista some stuff in the ring. It was in Calgary before an event, and they had the bigger extras like me and a couple. I think Wavell Star was another local Calgary guy that they had like getting choked by Batista and basically just being used as tackling dummies. Other than that, I remember sitting beside him in the dressing room, I believe at a Bakersfield, California event they used me as an extra on. But I didn't talk to him much, other than I think I told him I liked his book, which I did. Have I heard his podcast? Yes, I have heard his podcast. And actually gained more respect for him listening to his podcast. I'll be perfectly honest. I was not really a big Arn Anderson fan. I'll be perfectly honest with you on that, although I was a Four Horsemen fan. Didn't have anything against Arn Anderson, but like he wasn't in my top 10 list of favorite wrestlers or anything. But I surprisingly really enjoyed his podcast. I don't know if he's still doing it or not, because now he's an agent for AEW. AJRX's Jacqueline's boobs popped out on a WWE show. Walter Johnson, what do I think about AEW postponed? They're still doing events in front of no crowds. I believe it's going to be somewhere in like a closed studio in Jacksonville. But they have postponed some of their Dynamite tapings. Yes, SmackDown seemed more like a rehearsal, Tony R says. So we'll leave it at that. The only bits of SmackDown I saw was it was on when I was working out, and it looked weird to have it in front of no crowd, but they're getting paid. The biggest money WWE is making right now is from these TV deals. So those TV deals, it doesn't matter if there's a crowd or not. Sometimes they probably lose money when they do events and the crowd doesn't meet the costs. Plus, you have to drive in all those production trucks, drive in all the lighting, hire local crews. So it's probably actually pretty economical for them to record at the Performance Center. And a lot of their talent lives in Florida. Boxing Legends 2011 says, who's my next shoot interview? Well, I can't honestly tell you that because I don't know if I have flights booked for not this coming week, but the week after. Are they going to ban Canadians from going to the US? I don't know. That's going to affect my next shoot interview. Otherwise, I'll try and get more Skype interviews. But it's supposed to be a special interview with Dan Severin. He was going to take me to ASU where he was a coach and wrestled. He was going to take me to this mountain. We're actually going to do the interview on top of this mountain that he uses to run in. He was going to show me a lot of places in Phoenix that are close to him. And there's others, but I'm not even going to mention them because I don't know if they're happening or not, so I don't want to disappoint people. Mike McGurk, obviously we're bringing her into Tampa. We're supposed to do an interview with her Wrestlermania weekend. If it is canceled and there's no travel ban, we will still go there and do interviews in Tampa because like I'm all about shoot interviews. And there ain't too many people around this area of Canada to interview that I haven't already interviewed. So, yeah, any news on Sunny being out of jail? I haven't seen for sure that she's out of jail, but I know she's supposed to be released this month if she's not already released. Have I tried getting a Shawn Michaels shoot? No, because he's still, I believe he's still a trainer at the Performance Center. And getting people that work for WWE to do interviews is like, Gerald Briscoe seemed to like me through all my interactions with him. He even tried to get me hired by WWE, but somebody near the top, probably Triple H, kiboshed it. But he wasn't allowed to do an interview with me either. Red Skull 1900, what's my opinion on Sami Zayn? We only used him once in Great North Wrestling when he was El Generico. And I believe Jeremy Prophet actually paid his fee to wrestle him on that show because he wanted them to have a match. I never really knew him at all. I haven't seen him. He's not the kind of wrestler I like. He's very plain looking. I lost a lot of respect for him when he had that person kicked out of the WWE event. Because in my opinion, unless someone is physically attacking you or like offending the other fans in attendance, it's a show. You should be able to take what people call you. I've been called all kinds of things. I've actually been attacked too. And I think what Disco Inferno said it best. I mean, Sami Zayn had a guy call him a faggot or something. And I agree. In this day and age, that's definitely inappropriate terms. But he had this guy kicked out of a WWE event. And Disco Inferno posted something, man, I had 20,000 people calling me that on Nitro, and I came to the back, and I was like, man, I had great heat tonight. So it just shows you, like, how, like, sad wrestling has become. Who is the greatest Canadian wrestler beside myself? Vance Albright says, Mad Dog Vachon. Without question, Mad Dog Vachon. So we'll end it at that. Have a good night. Let's hope some people like start smartening up and this panic goes away soon.